You mentioned Kittle. In a lot of ways, he kind of kept them in it with, some big catches, including a fourth down catch. And we haven't seen this George Kittle yet this season, coming into the game with only 12 catches in 4 games and only 100 yards receiving. On this day, Mac Jones intended or targeted him 9 times, and Kittle caught 9 passes for 84 yards and a touchdown. So,
and they weren't easy catches either.
Yeah.
They weren't easy catches, especially that first one, full layout, fingertip grab. But George Kittle was on display today, and the touchdown also another full layout to get the football just across the plane while he had one set of toes inbounds and not touching outbounds. He said after the game that he was having a flashback. He had a similar play back in Iowa where he actually had one toe down out of bounds. And so he was so close, but because that toe was down, he actually thought about that as he was diving towards the end zone and wanted to make sure both feet were up so he wasn't called out of bounds.
Yeah, really good decision on his part to clip his toenails before the game, I think. that kept him in bounds. Both of those plays, the plays that you just referenced, I don't know if you had the same feeling, but when I was watching it live, I thought, that has to get overturned. The first one, there's no way he kept control of that ball as he was going to the ground. And then you see the replay, it's like, oh, yeah, he did. How did he do that? And then that play, the touchdown where he somehow stayed in bounds and then reached the ball and hit the pylon was another one where you're like, oh my gosh, no, there's no way he stayed in bounds, was there? And yes, there was. So
I'm telling George you had doubt.
I had doubts. That was a compliment to George. I know, right? That was a compliment. Like, how does any mortal do something like that? So shout out to George Kittle. The 49ers are going to need more of that because of where they are at the wide receiver position. I know they're hoping Ricky Pearsall can get out there and start practicing soon, but they need more consistency from Juwan Jennings. I think maybe Kendrick Bourne's plateaued a little bit. How about Luke Farrell catching another touchdown pass? Yep. But they just need. I think they need more from Kittle, or more of the same from Kittle, because they just don't have the full allotment of weapons in the passing game that they've had in the past. So that's one area where Kittle fully capable of putting together for the final 7 games of the season a George Kittle like of ending to this season.